Warning. This podcast is about the horror genre, specifically horror films. As most horror movies are filled with coarse language, violence, and/or gore, the topics and language of the cast of the pod will also reflect the genre. If you have any issues with the aforementioned warnings, please press stop. But if you have no issue with adult language, movie violence, or the accoutrement that accompanies horror films, please feel free to continue. You have been warned.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Cast of the Pod, the podcast that looks for you, not just our friends, even though it's been our dear friends that have been special guests here on the podcast, but anyone who wants to reach out and talk about your memories and our opinions and our reviews, even though we're not a review podcast. If you wanted to talk about that, hey, we don't mind. We'll have you on. We've got many other movies coming up. Looking forward to Maximum Overdrive. Looking forward to, did you know we had, Deb, you're here today?
I'm here.
Paul, you're back?
I'm back.
Did you know that, damn, I forgot the name of it. The Wizard of Oz Part 2, Return to Oz, is considered a horror film?
What the hell?
Yeah, we're thinking about talking about that too. I don't know if it's because Fairuza Balka's in there, but yeah.
It's really good. I liked it.
Me too.
But you wouldn't think of it as a horror film, but it's definitely listed in the horror genre.
Nice.
Anyway, today we are talking about, and this is one of the movies that's near and dear to us because it has "of the" in it, like we're Cast of the Pod. Speaking of which, you can find us at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, Cast of the Pod. We're thinking about opening up a Patreon so people can pay us to make better stuff and make requests and stuff like that and all this other stuff. But anyways, we are talking about today, Land of the Dead, the 2005 return to action of George A. Romero. And this is one that Paul requested. He doesn't have notes today. That's a good thing. He's going to flow off the top of his dome. And Paul, where do you want to start at?
Did you know? As I was I could have guessed it, but reading through the Did You Know on IMDb, that the reason that this movie got the green light was because of Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah, because it made so much money and it got people back into zombie movies, and it was Dawn of the Dead, and it was so good.
Yeah, this one wasn't as good, but it was pretty good. I liked it. I watched it again the other day on my old DVD that I've had since it came out.
We rewatched it a couple of nights ago, and I consider it apples and oranges. A lot of people had a problem with how good Dawn of the Dead was compared to the master of the genre, George A. Romero, coming back into it and having a movie that's not as of the dead as Dawn of the Dead. But in my opinion, it's apples and oranges because it's different worlds. The remake was 2004 remake of Dawn of the Dead. Was it 2002, 2004?
I think 2004.
The Ving Rhames ones that we talked about. It's more visceral. It's more modernized. And in this movie, this 2005, excuse me, Return Land of the Dead had more of an 80s feel to it, 90s feel to it. It's like Romero never left off with where he did back in the past. So for people to be upset so much about the differences between the two, I think they're just being a little hypercritical. And that's my 2 cents.
That reminds me of someone talking about the current situation in the world, comparing it to Stephen King's The Stand. And they're like, it's just like The Stand. And Stephen King's like, no, it's not. There's like, have you even seen or read the book to Stephen King? It's like, yeah, man, I wrote that shit. But no.
How would you know?
You don't know.
Stephen King wrote Running Man, the Schwarzenegger movie, under his pseudonym, his pen name. Did you know that?
I did.
I didn't.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't, Deb? Yes. See, I know things.
So another funny did you know was, did you know that this movie takes place after Night of the Living Dead?
After?
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is after the world's already trying to get kind of back to normal, and they're forcing themselves into what was the name of it? Something Greens,
Fiddler's Green.
Fiddler's Green, and that kind of reminds me of Soylent Green. Have you ever seen Soylent Green? I'm looking over here because Paul's screen is over here. I'm calling him Pod.
Pod the pod.
But yeah, Soylent Green is people. Have you ever seen it? Charlton Heston? I'm not calling you Charlton Heston, by the way.
That's okay. I'll take
it is a post-apocalyptic world where everybody has the jobs that they're supposed to have issued to them. They live where they're supposed to be, where they're issued at. And the only food is these nutritional bars that get assigned to them. There's Soylent Red, Soylent Blue, Soylent Yellow, Soylent Green. And the most popular one is Soylent Green. And spoiler alert, the movie's as old as I am. But by the time you get to the end of the movie, you find out that people have a choice that if they want to die, they can go, and it's voluntary suicide. You know, you go and they give you some drugs and you watch happy things as you fade away to death. But then Charlton Heston finds out that they're using all the people that are committing suicide, their bodies, to be the protein in the Soylent bars. And so he's trying to, you know how in Planet of the Apes, damn you dirty apes, the movie ends with him, Soylent Green is people.
That was a great review of Land of the Dead.
Well, that's what the podcast, Casting the Pod, is about. We talk about the movies, and if we have to veer off via the memories that we have about it, you know, and then we'll have a full episode about it's just a podcast. If you want a review podcast by people that have spent every waking hour of their day, you know, looking into these movies, there's millions of them out there, and there's some great ones out there. This is just what triggers different synapses and memories in your brain. What did you like about it? What didn't you like about it?
My brain.
We haven't even got into that part yet.
My synapse was not connected, and I meant to say great review of Soylent Green. What I meant to say.
But Land of the Dead was the hint of sarcasm, just a hint. What was very good.
So
go ahead, Deb.
I'm saying, so going back to Land of the Dead.
Okay.
So this came out after Dawn of the Dead, right?
Yes.
Now, the original Dawn of the Dead, I don't think that this is a continuance of the one with Ving Rhames.
No.
It's Romero's Dawn of the Dead, the original Dawn of the Dead. This is the next part after that.
Yes.
So you're not going to see the armless Asian runner guy. But you did see the legless climbing through the rafters ninja guy.
Yeah, we were like, there he goes.
There he goes again. And in the Did You Know, it'll say that it's the same actor.
Yes, that is true.
So if it's this is the same actor from Dawn of the Dead?
Same stunt person.
So that's why, because remember in Dawn of the Dead, we were talking about how did the little girl know how to open the doors?
No, this is not the universe. See, Deborah has this theory, Paul. And she said, like, as the movie ended, she goes, well, that explains Dawn of the Dead. I said, what do you mean that explains Dawn of the Dead? She says, well, we had that big conversation. How did the little girl remember how to open the doors? So, yeah. In Land of the Dead, the zombies, after a long period of time, if you did not know, start remembering their past. The past being working at a gas station, playing tuba, playing tambourine, rolling a tire through the backyard. It's just whatever they remember doing.
So what I was trying to say was the guy who was in Dawn of the Dead and Land of the Dead, he went and told the zombies, hey, there's a little girl in Dawn of the Dead and she opened the door. If she can open the door, you can do stuff too.
And those exact words. Half the battle.
And then so the zombies started doing stuff in Land of the Dead.
But that's not too far off, considering in Romero movies, the zombies get progressively intelligent each movie. So in Dawn of the Dead, the original version, they mention, that whole thing that we put in a zombie movie, whereas they remember the last things they were doing. Mm-hmm. Why are they here? They were all going to the mall because they all remember, like, they were looking at clothes. They were kind of perusing the mall. and they weren't as intelligent as they were in the Land of the Dead, where they started, to like use the gas station, playing instruments and stuff like that. So they still have a long way to go, but even, I think, what was one of the comments on the radio is that if they even developed like a hint of primitive like memory, then they would be like exponentially more dangerous. And they were. I mean, dude fucking got angry, squeezed his hand, and shot a machine gun.
And
he was like, "Oh shit!"
And he had to have had some kind of memory, military memory, or something like that. What was his name?
Big Daddy.
Big Daddy. Eugene Clark.
Big Daddy.
What else?
What else was it? So they had memory. I think one of the things that I saw in the Did You Know was, and it's really hard to make out, the mall music in the original Dawn of the Dead was being played by the tuba player and the trombone player.
It's called the gonk.
Yeah, the gonk.
They're playing the notes on the when they're showing them in the little gazebo and all that.
Yeah.
Now here's the one that everybody knows, and if you're in a podcast and you're talking about Land of the Dead, you have to say, "Did you know that Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright were in the movie?"
Oh yeah,
they were in the photo booth, and they got that because of the work that they did in Shaun of the Dead. Would you consider Shaun of the Dead a horror movie just because it's a zombie movie?
Yes.
I think it's horror comedy.
We were looking at movies the other day, Deb and I, and it said the top 9 genres this movie is in is horror, comedy, action, suspense, thriller. I'm like, really? Do they get 9 genres?
Yeah. Thinking about it, it's pretty good. It's a pretty good movie, especially when they're doing the plan, kind of like the flashes of the plan of how they're gonna, leave the house, go get mom, go get the girlfriend, and then go to the Winchester and have a pint. That whole scene where they're just kind of drawing out different scenarios. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Another Did You Know? You should listen to our podcast for Did You Knows, but you can also go to IMDb and find out the Did You Knows there if you don't want to wait on us. But it says Tom Savini's biker character that came out in the movie, because I was there and it's like, oh, finally there's Savini. It says that he was a biker in Dawn of the Dead 1978, and it's the same character. I wonder if it's the same character or if it's just Tom Savini going, yeah, it's a normal day. I'm going to wear a leather jacket and leather pants.
He always wears that shit. But yeah, I didn't notice that the first time I saw it. I didn't think about it because I had not seen the original Dawn of the Dead. But apparently they couldn't credit him as his character name from Dawn of the Dead because of rights issues and stuff like that.
Of the Dead movies having rights problems? No.
Romero, I think, wasn't very smart when it came to keeping his movies.
Well, look at what happened to Night of the Living Dead. Like everybody, we could show that right now if we wanted to.
Yeah. And I think that was kind of the same issue. So they can't use Tom Savini's character's name in the credits, but it was like Biker Zombie or some shit like that. But yeah, same guy. And they totally zoomed in on his face just so that you knew it was that same character.
I got to go back and watch the 78 version because honestly, I don't remember. I know that's not something a podcast host should be saying, a horror podcast host should be saying, but I don't remember it beat by beat, step by step. And it is a Savini appearance. So,
hey man, you mentioned it in the first one. We're not here to know the movies minute by minute. But I mean, I watched the original Dawn of the Dead the night before we did our Dawn of the Dead podcast, so just so I could have some comparison. I mean, I didn't see it back in '78. I wasn't even born.
Something that I thought was cool watching the movie that I didn't notice the very first time, and it shows how, I mean, it's in reference to a zombie game, but how these zombie movies are part of pop culture. The movie was originally going to be called Dead Reckoning, and they named the truck in the movie Dead Reckoning. And then there is the game, I think it's a Capcom game called Dead Reckoning. It's a zombie game. Isn't that the one when you're in the mall and you're just beating up people with different weapons, zombies with different weapons and stuff like that?
Is that Dead? I thought it had a different name. I can't remember. You can like build your own weapons and stuff like that.
I think so. But I know there is a Dead Reckoning game. Let me look it up right now in the middle of the podcast because we've got nothing else better to do. Okay, maybe I was wrong. It was also a 1947 film. It was a book.
Damn, I wish I'd have written something down.
It's a swashbuckling strategy. What?
It's a board game.
There has to be another Dead Reckoning that I'm thinking of, unless this is one of those, what do you call it, where you think Nelson Mandela's dead, but he's not? Well, he is now, but
Mandela effect.
Yeah, there you go. I knew his name was in there somewhere. This is my own personal Mandela effect. I could have sworn
it could have like another name and then colon Dead Reckoning.
The main character Riley was Australian.
Okay.
Did you know that? That's it.
Dead Rising.
Dead Rising. That's the game I was thinking of.
There's one right here, if you can see. So the butcher is Tucker from Dawn of the Dead.
Yes.
Look at his face.
The guy that drove the truck in with the lady. He showed up with the heavyset woman because you have to say heavyset. The heavyset person.
There was a man.
The pre-zombie American.
So they should have put like a bullet hole, like kind of like grazed, because he's like, shoot me, but then he would have been torn to pieces. Oh, the other thing I was gonna say is Land of the Dead, in my opinion, was way more gory than Dawn of the Dead.
Agreed.
Yes, I agree.
Agreed.
It was amazingly gory.
The scene when Big Daddy steps on the other zombie's head, the decapitated zombie.
Oh, because he's like trying to get him out of the way and his head gets shot off.
Yes. And then there's also another scene where somebody straight up sub-zeros. A zombie sub-zeros another zombie and pulls out the whole spinal column and head and all that.
No, that was a person. They were eating people when they got into Fiddler's Green. When they got into the city, they started eating people, and then you just see the shadow of them pulling their whole head and spine out.
Yes, Sub-Zero wins. Now, I am personally a Dennis Hopper fan and a John Leguizamo fan, and a lot of people have issues with when Hopper plays these types of characters that are all super cheese, and it's all the same type of character. I like that combination. I like that recipe for Dennis Hopper bad guys.
Like Speed.
I didn't even think about that.
Do you remember those two being in another movie together?
Yeah, Super Mario Brothers.
Super Mario Brothers.
Luigi and Cooper.
Yep.
Cooper? You know old Cooper.
King Koopa. Yeah, man, that used to be my favorite movie when I was a kid. It's so bad.
Ironically, and his name starts with a K in this one also is Kaufman. I don't see a first name for Dennis Hopper. But did you notice that John Leguizamo's name was Cholo?
Yeah.
Cholo de Mora.
De Mora.
Yeah.
He was when what's his name? The other guy. He was calling him. I was like, is he calling him Cholo?
Cholo.
He's like Cholo.
And I swore up and down while we were watching the movie Pretty Boy, which was the blonde driver of Dead Reckoning. The one that handled all the missiles and all that. I don't know, was she the driver? Yeah, she was the driver.
Yeah, she was the driver.
I could have sworn she was the blonde from The Matrix. I'm telling Deborah, without a doubt, that's her. I looked her up and it wasn't her. Her name is Joanne Boland.
The one with the red dress?
No.
Like,
you know how when they're in the real world in The Matrix and there's the one with the short blonde hair?
Nope.
Well, I thought
the one that is a hermaphroditic type character.
Nope.
Well, next time you go back watch Matrix, white suit, short blondish hair. That's what I thought it was.
Never mind. You're talking about the one that was with them, part of the crew
in the real world. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I thought what's her name? Slack. I thought that was Joan Cusack at first.
Yeah, she said.
She looks like her.
She says she's the girl from 16 Candles. I'm like, who? Deborah's talking about Asia Argento, the main girl in the movie, the one that Riley saves from the zombie pits.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I thought it was her.
No,
I know.
We're all wrong.
I looked her up. I was like, oh, nope, I was wrong. Sorry, my bad.
Now, this is another Mandela effect for me. I could have sworn that they showed the zombies walking along the bottom of the water.
I don't. That never crossed my mind.
I even told Deborah, I was like, there's this scene when they walk up to the water and then they just fall into the water and then you see them walking and there's like seaweed and it's like, it's the middle of the night. How is there light in there? Why are they showing zombies? And they didn't show it. And I'm like, oh, it must have been the director's cut.
No,
but I know I've seen that in a movie somewhere where they're just walking along the bottom of the water.
When they come out of the water, like some fucking Navy SEALs, they come out of the water. They're kind of like head halfway out of the water. And you imagine that, this is again getting super technical, that the water, the land in the water descends, except that every zombie behind them comes up at the same level. Like all their heads pop up at the same level and they're all standing up like 20 yards back at the same height.
Where you could tell they were all just ducking underneath the water. They're like, action. And then everybody stood up instead of walking up the angle.
Yeah, that kind of bothered me.
I thought the same thing too. I'm like, well, are the shorter people up front or something? The shorter zombies?
So what, other than the Sub-Zero fatality, was your favorite death or gory part of the movie?
I liked when... Oh, Deb, go first.
The what?
She's probably playing a game on her phone.
No, I was looking up Cusack. I couldn't remember if I had said
Joan
her name.
Cusack?
Yeah, I couldn't remember if I had said her name right.
That was very important. Looking up a character that's not actually in the movie, that we know for a fact she's not in the movie. This is the cast of the pod. We're talking about Land of the Dead, not 16 Candles, not Gross Point Blank. No, that's her brother.
That's
my bad.
her brother.
Well, Joan Cusack is actually in another awesome horror movie called School of Rock.
Wasn't she? No, well, John Cusack was in Identity.
Yes,
I consider that a horror movie. That is an amazing movie.
We saw that at your place.
Yep, we did. But going back to Paul's question was, what was one of your favorite deaths or gore scenes from Land of the Dead, the movie we're talking about here at Cast of the Pod?
What's my favorite?
And
I said other than the Sub-Zero fatality.
Other than the Sub-Zero. Sub-Zero wins.
I don't know. I don't think.
I personally liked seeing a Leguizamo zombie. Try saying that fast. Leguizamo zombie.
And he was after, what's his name?
Yeah. And it wasn't that shocking of a reveal because he shoots him and he's like, what? It's like you knew, since he was in shadows, you knew he was a zombie already. And, but, just seeing the fact that they gave him a choice, he's like, no, I always wanted to see how the other side lives.
Oh, yeah.
And that was a true friend because he's like, my boy just got bit by a zombie and I can either stay here with y'all safe in the truck or I could go with my boy. And
I thought the same thing.
He took off with him. And I was like, that's very admirable. Dumb, but admirable.
I would have probably done the same thing. I would have begrudgingly, I would have done it though. If that was my boy, I would have been like, fuck, man. All right, you know what? At least this car has a 50 cal with, a few thousand rounds.
What I would have done, theoretically, in a what I would have done type situation, it'd have been like, you want me to put you down or you can do it yourself? And then he says, no, I want to be this way until I can't be that way anymore. Then I'm like, all right, well, then I'll go with you. But if he's like, just put me down, then I would have put him down and then got in the truck and taken off.
Same. So I thought to myself what I would have done. He's like, cool, I want to see how the other side lives. Just take me to this place so I can go kill Kaufman. Cool. I'd do that, and then I'd go find Dead Reckoning and join that crew.
Hey guys, remember me?
Yeah. Hey, so he got bit, and I don't have anywhere else to go, and this car doesn't have a roof on it or windows. I need a place
Windows 98, 95, 3.11 for work groups.
2005.
Oh man.
So mine was another one that you couldn't see. It was just a shadow.
Okay.
My favorite gore scene was the arm sticking up, and then two zombies come and they rip the arm apart, like right down the middle.
Tore it straight down the middle.
Yeah, like they tore the fingers apart and then just like opened it up like a fucking banana.
I know the scene that Deborah should be remembering because she jumped and screamed like it was like you know, like she didn't know it was a horror movie. Like, hey, what are we doing? Why are we watching, you know, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood? And then, and I looked at her. I'm like, really, Deborah? Wait. Paul hears zombies in the distance.
Sorry, strange sound outside.
Is it zombies?
No, it was like I don't know. They have these announcements that sound like the purge is starting.
For those of y'all who don't know, Paul is in Japan. Are you sure it's not zombies?
Well, the windows are all frosted here, so I can't see outside.
Oh, okay. The scene when Leguizamo, when Cholo throws the cigars over the counter, and then the young guy reaches over to get the cigars, and then the zombie grabs his arms and bites him. Deborah jumped. She jumped like a rat had run across her feet, and she got tased in the calf at the same time or whatever. Just, I'm like, really?
I don't know why it scared me.
In your defense, the first time I saw the movie, that scared me too. I knew it was coming. There was no way that kid wasn't going to get bit there or something wasn't going to pop out. But
they made him too happy, too innocent, too... The future's going to be great. And as soon as you see all that kind of positivity in a zombie movie, you know they did.
Yep.
Well, it was like right after
they just don't know.
Cholo had opened up the freezer?
The champagne, yeah.
Got the champagne and the zombie came out of there. So Deborah thought they were zombied out for the scene.
Yeah, I was like, okay,
we've met our zombie quota. We don't need to have any more. No, remember that, kids. Whenever there's any kind of positivity or fruitful, futuristic looking outcome for somebody, they did. They just don't know. They did.
That part actually scared me too. I'd forgot about the champagne zombie. Like I didn't forget. Like I knew it was there and it was gonna happen, but it happened so suddenly. Like because I thought he was gonna open the door all the way and then the zombie would come out. It was like he touched the door and then it just came out.
I thought they were like once they go back outside and get on the bikes and whatever. Or what, I can't remember what they got on. But I thought when they went outside, that's when another zombie was going to come. But
she was wrong.
They're the main characters. They don't get killed until near the end.
And just in case you wanted to know, Jasmine Gelio was the tambourine man. He's credited in the main cast as Tambourine Man.
Who is that?
When he was in the gazebo where the tuba player was at, there was a tambourine player also.
No, who's the actor?
I don't know. I've never seen him in anything.
Oh, you just felt like saying his name.
He was in Assault in Precinct 13, Cube Zero, The Sentinel, and Land of the Dead.
Kill you.
And his newest movie is Deji Estin is Beskajima Hausa. I don't even know what that means. I shouldn't try to read languages I don't know.
Oh, you were mentioning names for another movie, and it was a Japanese chick. And
Ringu.
No. It was for... I can't remember what it was. It was like Sanatana or something like that. The last name, you were butchering it. I didn't know what you were saying. I didn't know it was Japanese, and my wife was listening to the podcast. And she was like, oh, Sanatana. It's like, what?
Oh, my bad.
Well, she's not Japanese, but she speaks it.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, that doesn't make it any less offensive. I mean,
oh,
I was attempting at a non-biased way to pronounce the name.
You're offended in today's age? I'm surprised.
And listening to a former Hatchet TV now horror movie podcast, you're going to get offended. Fuck off.
Hey, you've been warned in the beginning of the episode.
You've been warned.
You were warned.
Did you like the voiceover at the beginning?
I did, yeah. We talked about it in Dawn of the Dead. The thing was amazing. Peter, did you figure out his last name?
Yes. Oh, I was supposed to send you the link. I'll put it out there for everybody. If you want to use Peter from Fiverr, he's great.
I think it was cool. At first, I thought it was you, and I was like, "There's no fucking way that's Josh."
Yeah, Josh doesn't have that kind of talent.
Well, I mean, you do good voices, but I was like, no. Nope, not him.
Now, the thing is, he does say accoutrement. He recorded it twice, not realizing that when I wrote the script for that, I wanted him to say accoutrement, the French version of it. And he goes, I also included the French version. He goes, when I first read it, I read it in French, and I also included the English version in case that's what you wanted. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, professional. But I was thinking about the movie, and I wonder, because there was a lot of civil rights types things put into the original Night of the Living Dead. People freaked out because the main character, the hero of the movie, was a black man.
Yeah.
And George A. Romero had no problem. He didn't. I mean, he was like, "This is who I want as the lead. Fuck it, if you got a problem with it." In this movie, there was a lot of comparison and contrast that you can do into the social framework of our world. Everything from the poor being forced to be poor, and the rich being ignorant of how the world is, and then the zombies having guns, and just because they, any zombie can pull a trigger type situations. Or am I looking too much into it and it's just a fucking zombie movie? Anybody?
I think it's just a zombie movie, man. But I mean, did you read something about that? Like, is that
no? As I'm watching it, everything I watch now, I'm waiting for the hidden meaning. There's a reason behind that, and if you look for that type of stuff, you're gonna find it, even if it's not there. I'm guilty of some of the stuff I complain about, but
I think that's definitely something that you were looking for, and you might have found it, because in 2005, I think things were pretty chill.
Well, think about it. When Night of the Living Dead came out, he knew what kind of hardship he was going to have for having a black lead actor.
I think he just wanted to make another movie, man.
That what?
I think he just wanted to make another movie.
I don't know, because he had all that time where he could have made other movies and didn't make any movies, and he was making a social stand back then, and it's charted. I'm losing the word it's documented that he wanted to make that stand, and there is comparison contrast to society in the original Night of the Living Dead, and they were called ghouls. They weren't zombies.
Oh, they say the word zombie in Land of the Dead.
Mm-hmm. I think it was Dennis Hopper that said it, right? I hate zombies.
Yeah. So maybe there were zombie movies in that. Well, I mean, a long time had passed, so maybe they gave him the name zombie. I don't know.
What is the history of the word? I mean, I hate asking questions like this where you could just get online and get on Google and find out the answer. But where did the word zombie come from?
Voodoo.
Run. As I live next to an Air Force base, can you hear the C-5s flying overhead?
Oh, I can't tell they're C-5s, but I can kind of hear an aircraft.
Did I ever tell you the story about when one of the engines died out on one?
No.
Yeah. It's turning right over our house, and then all you hear is the noise, and then nothing. Complete dead silence, and it's just going over like that, and then you hear bing, bing, like loud, like it. You ever hit a and you've probably been around tons of different types of planes or machinery or anything like that where you know the actual sound. But have you ever hit a high tension wire with something metal and you hear that? Bing! So it's making that noise, and then like that again. And I told Deborah, this motherfucking plane just stalled. Got the hoopty plane flying over the where all the people are at.
Well, it's a good thing they can glide for a little while. Unless, it's in a nosedive, then you're screwed.
Yeah, bought the used car lot plane to fly over my neighborhood. Shit. Change batteries. Okay, what else y'all got for Land of the Dead?
Let's see. Baseball player, butcher, Tom Savini. I think that's it.
I like Charlie, the half face. Is there any backstory on Charlie being burnt?
Yeah. Riley saved him.
No, but I mean, I wonder if he had his emotional issues before.
Before the apocalypse.
Can you hear the planes?
Yeah. Oh, you mean like kind of how he's like real like shut in kind of thing? Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, maybe I would think so. I don't think the fire would have made him, turn like that severely. I mean, unless he's just like so indebted to Riley that he just like reverted back to a childlike state.
You know what else I liked about the movie? Getting back into social commentary and stuff like that. There is a little person in this movie. Now, while that is a politically correct term, little person, and I can't speak on this because I am not a little person, but I would be offended by that because it sounds like you're less of a person, and little people are just people, just plain and simple people. And anyways, they kill him like nothing, like no problem, and they really don't. Other than what was his name? It wasn't Mouse because there's another Mouse.
No, that's the skateboarder.
Yeah, but there was another. I can't remember, but they gave him a little type name. Oh, Chihuahua. They called him Chihuahua.
Oh yeah, Chihuahua. I was like, what the fuck?
And Charlie, my whole point of getting towards him was that's when they first showed Charlie doesn't miss. Once he highlights the end of his rifle there, his sight.
It catches the light.
It catches the light. I've wanted to see if I could do that. To see have you tried it?
No, I've not tried that.
It's like let me put some babas at the end of my rifle just to see if it helps catch the light. But yeah.
Would it be too much of a problem if I stepped away for like 30 seconds?
You gotta take a dump?
No. What, in 30 seconds? That'd be great.
Go for it.
I'll be right back.
All right. Now we're just gonna sit here awkwardly waiting for Paul.
It's a good time to
trying to see what he can do.
Say who our sponsor is.
Our sponsors, One Up Entertainment at Pica Pica Plaza in San Antonio, Texas. You can find them also on Facebook at I don't know what. I'm looking them up right now. Come on, Facebook. Why is this in my post over here?
I don't know.
One Up Entertainment, shopping and retail. Oh my God, Steven, that is a long name to put up there. Yeah, One Up Entertainment San Antonio. And that's the number One Up Entertainment San Antonio. And he's redoing his page. They were originally One Up Movies and Video Games. And now it's One Up Entertainment. So give Steven a like. Tell him you heard about us at Cast of the Pod. We won't get any money off of it or anything like that, but it makes us look good. Yeah. And we will have some vouchers and some stuff to be giving away from One Up Entertainment soon. We haven't been over there lately because of the lockdown and all that stuff here in town. But One Up Entertainment, Steven will hook you up. He's got good prices. He's got DVDs, movies, video games, and all that good stuff. And Paul's back as we were talking about the sponsors. Everything come out okay, Paul? Yes.
Yeah, well, 6 cups of coffee will do that to you. So I've had 6 cups of coffee. So the sponsor, the guy with all the cool
Steven, yes.
Steven, does he have an online store? Can I buy stuff from him?
I don't know, but I will find out. And if there's anything, and if he doesn't, if there's anything you're looking for, let me know. I will purchase it and we'll get it out to you.
Probably movies. I like having hard copies of movies.
Yes, sir. We had that conversation the other day. I have like 3 huge stacks of movies that we're going to be watching, and horror movies, and having here a Cast of the Pod. Deb and I just ran into that. We're going to start adding more stuff to the page. We want to start putting, just making it, a little bit more entertaining. And I've been sharing stuff from other pages on our page of Cast of the Pod, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff. And if you have any recommendations, Paul, let me know, and I'll try to get it done too.
Absolutely.
All right. Anything else left for Land of the Dead, the 2005 release from the great one himself, George A. Romero?
Yes, one final thing. At the end of the movie, they take Dead Reckoning and Riley is like, fire off the rest of the ammunition or whatever the fuck, and
the fireworks, the sky flowers.
And
it's
he's
like,
like,
why?
we're not gonna need it. And I was like, what? I think not only the sky flowers, but I think the ammunition too, the missiles that they had up there. It's like, why the fuck would you do that?
Just because the zombies in that area learned to not be distracted by the sky flowers, why would you not need it somewhere else? Even if you weren't using it as a distraction, you could use that as a weapon.
What a horrible leader. I was like, I would not want to be under that dude's command. Like, just thinking, just because of the military mindset, I was like, I would not want to work for that guy.
Well, everybody else that's there, they're like,
dumb.
Okay, let's do that.
No, I'm not an okay person. I'd be like, that sounds dumb. Can we not do that? Let's have them all follow us as we lead a fucking light trail
to where we're going. You know what I would have done? It'd have been like, oh, get rid of everything we have left. And I would have been like, that's all we had left.
The sound effect was great.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
But no, that was it. That was like probably the worst thing about the movie. Like I thought I really did not like that. And it was the very end. It's like, how could you end the movie like that?
I didn't like the character of Riley, to be honest with you. It's not the actor's fault or anything like that. Maybe it was, but
it was his first horror movie.
Simon Baker?
I don't think that's his name.
Yeah, it is. He's the main guy in The Mentalist. Did you know that?
Oh yeah, Simon Baker. Sorry, I thought I was thinking of another name. Yeah, so actually I had watched a fuck ton of The Mentalist like during this whole lockdown thing. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh yeah, he's in Land of the Dead. And then I looked at his character in Land of the Dead and I was like, eh. And then the Did You Know said that it was his first horror movie because he had never done one. So he wanted to be in a horror movie.
Wow.
He did all right. I don't think it was
like
that
I said,
bad.
It's not his fault or anything. It just
he just didn't like the character.
Didn't like the character.
Are you saying this is like a George Lucas, Hayden Christensen kind of thing? He wasn't directed properly.
Well, he was in Red Planet. Would you consider Red Planet a horror movie?
I can't remember Red Planet.
Actually, it's one when they go to the Mars and there's that robot out there, and then when they're actually on the Val Kilmer's in it, Carrie Ann Moss.
Red Cube, Ice Cube in it? Red Cube. Ice Cube, is that the one he's in?
I think that's Ghost of Mars that you're thinking of.
Oh, yeah.
No, but when they're on the planet, like everything's red for real, like everything's got a red wash across the screen.
Nope, don't remember.
Oh, okay. But yeah, that's all I got for Land of the Dead 2005. What I really wish we could do, but legally you can't, is watch the movie and talk about it as it's going on and interact with people live. That'd be the shit.
Isn't there a way around that?
I'm sure there is, but that would require work.
So the workaround that I have seen is, well, people would have to have the movie. Basically, you have a watch party, start a timer, be like, hey, we're going to start this time. You watch it. While we watch it, we can all talk without actually showing the movie on screen.
Everybody get on to Netflix right now and
watch the movie with us.
Start the movie and pause it at 1 minute, 15 seconds, and then wait until I say go.
Pretty much.
I wonder if people would do it.
Only one way to find out.
You know what would suck, though? We get everybody to do that, and then there's like a 30-second delay from when we're watching it and everybody else is watching it. And then there has to be some kind of math where we can figure it out. Or just wait 30 seconds. But I don't know.
There's the math done.
Dude, that child staring at you just gives me the creeps.
This guy?
What child?
A little child. Yeah, he is creepy. Yeah. Wipe the dust off his eyes. Okay.
All right, y'all. We're going to go ahead and end this one here. Don't forget, I said it a million times, Cast of the Pod, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And I'm trying to get more interactive on those. And our special guest today, all the way from the other side of the planet in Japan, Paul. Wave at the camera, Paul.
Stay scary.
And Deb. And myself, I'm Josh, Born Dead, the Ordinary Gamer. Yes, I still use my name from 20 years ago. And yeah, this has been the Cast of the Pod where we go through our memories and our breakdowns and what sticks in our head about these certain movies, and don't have to get all scientific about it, even though Paul talked about how all the zombies stood up at the same time coming out of the water.
And how you talked about how political it was.
There was I don't know what you're talking about. Using the Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus c squared equals b squred.
Well, we hope you enjoyed this review of Soylent Green.
Yeah, I was going to say you gave a review of a different movie.
Soylent Green is people! Damn you, dirty
Japanese
zombies.
goodbye.